A quick whip around. There's a few things I want to talk about. So Brisbane are on the agenda, of course. I don't think dropping someone like Eric Hipwood is the answer. The two ruckman thing surprised me, and it surprised everyone, and it didn't work. So I think they'll go away from that. And Joe Daniher needs to be in the ruck at different stages. He could not get into the game against Collingwood, and he did not have the option of going into the ruck and getting involved and laying a tackle or getting a couple of cheap handballs and feeling good about himself. He was stuck in the forward line for 120 minutes, and he just was unable to get into the game. So I don't think we'll see two rucks. I would move now. We know over the past 2 or 3 years, Brisbane have had Hodge and Birchall and Rich and Coleman. They're all gone. All of their ball users are gone. McKenna is and has been injured, but he's not necessarily a creative kick. He's not a general type kick from down back. He takes the game on. He runs hard, and we love the way he plays, but he's not necessarily that creator, that architect. I think Zorko's the best in terms of a kicking element from a personnel perspective. Zorko's the best to go back, but physically playing that role, it asks a lot. You need to be able to stay on the ground for 90, 95% of the game. We know he's had his issues with Achilles and calves and all sorts of things, and he probably at this stage of his career needs to play 3 in every 4 to keep himself fresh, fit, and keep those injuries at bay. So the one I would send back is Hugh McCluggage. I think McCluggage has the creativity, the awareness, the composure, the calmness to play as a genuine halfback. Even if you want to roll him back from the wing, he's the one who can go behind the footy like a Nick Martin. Now, he's probably not as creative a kick as Nick Martin, and he might not run. Actually, he does run incredibly well, McCluggage. I take that back. But why can't he go back there and have the same impact that Nick Martin's having? I'm not talking about getting the ball 44 times. That'd be handy. But they need someone to generate some halfback turnover. So when you can turn the ball over at halfback, so the opposition's centre half forward, they're the hardest ones to defend because the ground's wide. The defenders typically are off their opponents, and there's forwards in space all over the place. But Brisbane just don't have that player at the moment who can get or receive that halfback turnover and then just go bang and hit a target, and then away you go. I think McCluggage can do it. Now, taking him away from the midfield means you got to replace him. Zach Bailey. Why can't Zach Bailey play 70% mid? I know he's a goal kicker. I know he's dangerous in the front half. But when you've got Cameron, you've got Daniher, you've got Hipwood, you've got Rayner, you've got McCarthy, you've got enough forwards. You need more power and more potency and more damage in the middle part of the ground. So I would send McCluggage back. I'd bring Bailey up as almost a permanent mid, maybe 60, 70% mid. I'd give Rayner a few looks at it as well, both centre bounce and some boundary throw-ins where he can come up and get involved in the game. And I'd even think about Charlie Cameron. He did it when he was playing with us in Adelaide. Of course, when you could have numbers wherever you wanted at centre bounce, he was starting off the back of the square and absolutely bolting through and getting involved. It's a great way to get him involved in the game. It's a great way to ensure that you've got more numbers around the footy, particularly early in games and early in quarters. And it gives their forwards more of a look at it. Now, if he plays the first 15 minutes of the first quarter and he kicks 2 goals, you leave him there. But too often this season, he's been starving. He's been deep forward. He hasn't seen the ball. He's not engaged in the game. And you've got to help him to help them. So Bailey mid, Rayner in spurts, Cameron in spurts, and McCluggage back. They're the moves I'd make for Brisbane.